OpenAI released Yesterday, OpenAI released two new reasoning models, O3 and O4 Mini, and people claim that they're at or above genius level. That means room temperature superconducting hoverboards should be right around the corner, but these claims of AI genius feel like deja vu all over again. In San Francisco, there's an old saying that goes, fool me once, shame on you, fool me O4 times, shame on me. But maybe this time it's the real deal. One thing's for sure though, OpenAI is shipping like crazy. This comes just days after they released GPT 4.1, and just weeks after 4.0 image gen and GPT 4.0.
Okay, chat. GPT sucks balls. Okay, they all suck balls. Guys, I ask. Okay, don't ask. Okay, I'm not. This is. Okay, I'm not gonna say it.
5. Hopefully, they can use the genius of O4 to not create such confusingly stupid names. Remember, today we're talking about O4.
Okay, so I asked this one, to give me a picture of something I already have. Same thing. I asked it progressively to increase breast size. Guys, it was an experiment I was doing to progress AI to social boundaries. So I ask it, and then it says it's gonna do it once, twice. The breasts aren't increasing, right? At that point, I'm like, yo, like actually increase breast size. And it caps out, it starts making the picture. It stops, says no. I can't do this because of my policies, whatever, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, dude, really, dude? I think that's bullshit. That's bullshit.
Not 4.0, so try to keep up. It is April 17th, 2025, and you're watching the Code Report. These new reasoning models are supposed to be really super good at writing code.
Let me show you. Okay. Settle down. Guys, this is art. This is AI. I asked it to redraw this, okay? But a bikini instead. I get this. Okay. Now I asked, okay, I'm like, yo, this clearly isn't the same boobies we got here, because this is massive. This is not as massive. Still massive though. Then I said, okay, I get this. It's not too bad. I'm like, yo, increase. Hey, hold on. Increase size. Now she's just kind of more massive overall. I'm like, not bad. Increase. And he says, I'm done. What do you mean you're done? I paid $200 for this product. Guys, the body to boobie ratio in this one seems massive. Do we got the same here? No. Same here? Absolutely not. I don't agree with it. So, AI sucks.
But you guys really need to stop posting these comments on their videos, because this guy in a $2 million car has been following me around and I have a bad feeling about it. But the big news is that OpenAI also released an open source CLI tool to go along with it called Codex. It's basically the exact same thing as Claude Code that can write, execute, and analyze code directly from your terminal or IDE. In today's video, we'll try out Codex, but I already pay thousands of dollars a month to vibe code with Lovable, Windsurf, Cursor, Firebase Studio, Claude Code, Copilot, Devin, Augment, and Bolt, yet my code quality is worse than ever. I know it's probably just a skill issue, but one thing's for sure, there's a massive arms race going on right now in Silicon Valley to capture the hearts, minds, and wallets of software engineers, especially the smart, lazy ones who don't want to write code. The global economy might be on the verge of collapse, but the code shovel business is booming right now. In fact, there's a rumor that OpenAI is in talks to buy Windsurf for $3 billion. And Windsurf is just a VS Code fork that adds a few AI bells and whistles. I'm starting to regret investing all my time working on Horse Tinder when I should have just forked VS Code and put a price tag on it. Like Cursor, another VS Code fork is doing $100 million in annual revenue. However, VS Code is built by Microsoft, and Microsoft is the biggest player in the developer tooling race. I believe their goal is to embrace, extend, and extinguish coders. I mean that in a good way, of course. And they just released a massive upgrade to Copilot called Agent Mode that many people are calling the Cursor or Windsurf killer. Like OpenAI Codex and Claude Code, it can create files and run commands, and integrates model context protocol servers. That's pretty cool, but at the moment, many people regard Gemini 2.5 as the best programming model out there.
People will bow to it.
And I'd say I have to agree. Last week, Google released Firebase Studio, which was formerly known as Project IDX, and it's a browser-based fork of VS Code that's hosted by Google. Not only does it generate code with Gemini 2.5, but it can also host and deploy that code automatically. The tooling situation for developers right now is more chaotic than I've ever seen in my life, but now let's try out O4 Mini in OpenAI Codex to find out if it's truly a genius. To use it, you install it with npm and then set an OpenAI API key as an environment variable. From there, you can run the
Chat, I'm sleeping. Chat, I like these videos. Chat, it's too technical. Too much code. Too much words. I'm sleeping. I'm done with this. Guys, API key, script based, SDK, error based code. I don't give a shit. Okay, bro, put the code in the terminal, bro. Put the code in the terminal. We're not doing that. Chat, I want to know about this, chat. Guys, the 4chan hack, I want to know about this.
Yesterday, the world came to a standstill after the greatest political minds in the world, also known as 4chan users, were unable to access their accounts. But it wasn't just a simple website outage. 4chan was hacked by a rival gang of internet chuds from a website called soyjack.party, or just Shardy for short. They vandalized the website by resurrecting a defunct forum and posting "you got hacked" in it. But that's hardly the bad part. They also leaked the private emails and IP logs of janitors, which are like low-level admins on the website. But it gets even worse than that. The 4chan website is apparently written in PHP, and I know this because the hackers hacked it like hackers hack in hacking movies. They didn't gain access with stolen passwords, phishing, or social engineering, but instead they exploited an actual security vulnerability in the website's backend code. In today's video, we'll perform a code review of 4chan and find out how it got wrecked by a bunch of soyjacks. It is April 16th, 2025, and you're watching the code report. One of the reasons technology...
But why would you want to be a soyjack, like deliberately? Chat. Like, what's the point of that? Of the people that go to that forum? No, but they deliberately want the soy?
Doesn't get hacked more often is thanks to a thing called the Common Vulnerabilities and Exposures database. Whenever I make a video about a hacking incident, I usually reference a CVE dictionary entry, which keeps track of details about software vulnerabilities and their severity. This database, though, relies on government funding. It's operated by a nonprofit, but as of today, its US government funding expires, and the Department of Homeland Security has decided to defund it, and that means you'll need to go somewhere else to figure out how vulnerable your software is. Actually, this just in, as soon as I finished recording that line, it looks like the government changed its mind and is now going to renew the contract. That's good news, but I still have bad news if you're an anon edgelord on 4chan. The Soyjack Party is actually the remnants of a board called...
I don't get it. Soyjack
Bad
Party?
news if you're an anon edgelord on 4chan. Soyjack...
Giga Chad in his pockets? Soyjack. Chad, but what do they want to be? Guys, you cannot be Giga Chad. No. Chat, you're missing the point. Chat, you're a soyjack or you're a giga chat. You cannot be a giga jack. It's not a thing.
Soyjack Party is actually the remnants of a board called QA, which was originally just for questions and answers, but it devolved or evolved into a Soyjack factory. Things got chaotic there with cross-board beefs, janitor hate, and obsessive posting about moderation, and so QA was removed in 2021, and that led to the bitter creation of Soyjack Party. Well, after yesterday's hack, all of these exiled basejacks made a glorious return to their homeland on QA. In addition, they accessed staff emails, a private board for staff members, and the interesting discovery of moderation tools, which confirms that when you're banned, they give you one reason and show staff a different reason, which is a common practice in big social media, like when YouTube just tells me I violated the community guidelines without giving me a reason. But the reality is that YouTube does have a real reason for banning every video that can only be seen by staff members. But now the question is, how did these soyjacks get access to 4chan? Surprisingly, it wasn't your typical social engineering password theft. It was mostly the fault of egregiously out-of-date software. So 4chan is written in PHP, and it allows uploading PDFs to certain boards, but they neglected to verify that the uploaded file is actually a PDF file. As such, PostScript files containing PostScript drawing commands can be uploaded. This PostScript file will be passed into GhostScript to generate a thumbnail image, but the version of GhostScript that 4chan uses is from 2012. In fact, we could search the CVE website I mentioned earlier to find vulnerabilities affecting GhostScript. From there, the hacker was able to elevate himself to a global user, thus completing a full penetration. And even though he or she had access to all user data, they chose not to expose it like like a doxjack, with the exception of 4chan janitors. Now, unfortunately, I'm not going to show the hacked source code in this video because I don't want to violate the community guidelines, but one interesting thing they found is that 4chan aggressively attempts to fingerprint your browser, and that's likely to control spam and prevent ban evasion. In addition, they're using a version of PHP that hasn't been updated since 2016,
interesting.
And the hacker posted a screenshot of it running on FreeBSD version 10.1, which came out in 2014 and stopped getting patches nearly a decade ago. And that's running a MySQL database with the NODB engine that's currently hosting over 10 million banned users. If you have that much data though and want things to be magically faster, a much better database option is Timescale.
The sponsor of today's video.
It's an open source hyper.
Okay, buddy. I'm starting to learn your lines, little buddy. Hey, yo, get creativer. Get creative. I'm on to you, pal. I know your shit. I'm right here, pal.